Ever notice how a good story just kind of sticks with you? Maybe even changes how you think about things a
Oh,
little.
yeah, totally.
Well, today we're diving into why that is, exploring storytelling.
Interesting.
Not just for entertainment, but as this like hardwired tool we have.
It's funny how often we don't give stories enough credit. Like, they're not serious stuff, but
Right.
they are how our brains figure the world out.
Okay, so not just bedtime stories then, clearly. What makes it so powerful?
Our brains are literally wired to connect this way. When you hear a vivid story,
I'm picturing one right now.
your brain lights up as if you're experiencing it, almost mirroring the storyteller.
Whoa, so my brain doesn't know it's not real life.
Not really, no.
Uh-huh.
Especially when there are big emotions involved. And this wasn't just for kicks for our ancestors.
Oh, I bet not. Campfires and all that.
Stories were like survival tools. They shared dangers, hunting tips, even the tribe's
So you're
rule.
the ones who listen.
More likely to live and pass those stories on. It's wild.
Stone Age survival guide, but in narrative form.
Exactly.
But it's got to be more than just not getting eaten by a saber-toothed tiger, right?
Oh, absolutely. The coolest part is how stories help us find meaning, like where we fit in the grand scheme of things,
I like that.
and connect with people who get it, who've had similar experiences, this ancient form of communication, and it's still so relevant.
So it's like those seemingly insignificant moments suddenly become profound when we share them with someone and find that they resonate with their own experiences.
Precisely. It's the sharing that amplifies the meaning. And it's not just personal stories that do this. Think about myths, fairy tales, even the fantasy novels we read as adults. They all carry deep wisdom and timeless lessons.
It's true. Those kinds of stories have been passed down for generations, and they still feel relevant. Why do you think they have the staying power?
They tap into universal themes: bravery, love, loss, good versus evil. These are things that resonate across cultures and time periods because they're fundamental to the human experience.
And they package those complex themes into memorable, often entertaining narratives. Like the story of the tortoise and the hare isn't just a cute story about animals.
Exactly. It's a lesson about patience and perseverance, cleverly disguised as a fable. Because it's presented as a story, it bypasses our resistance to being lectured and sneaks those lessons into our subconscious.
It's like slipping a message into a fortune cookie. You're more likely to pay attention if it's delivered with a little intrigue.
Precisely. And fiction in particular offers something even more powerful. It allows us to safely explore complex emotions and situations without real-world consequences.
So we get to step into someone else's shoes and experience the world through their eyes without any real-life risks. What's fascinating is how that can change our own perspectives.
Absolutely. Think about a time when a story challenged your assumptions or helped you see a situation from a different angle. It's like a mental workout for empathy and understanding.
That's so true. I remember reading To Kill a Mockingbird in school, and it completely shifted my understanding of prejudice and justice. It's amazing how a well-told story can have that kind of impact. But it's not just about personal growth, right? Storytelling can have much larger, even world-changing implications.
You're hitting on a crucial point. Think about movements like the Civil Rights Movement or the fight for women's suffrage. These weren't just abstract ideas. They were fueled by the personal stories of individuals who experienced injustice firsthand.
Those stories put a human face on these issues, making them relatable and impossible to ignore. Suddenly, it wasn't just about policy or politics. It was about people's lives, their struggles, their hopes for a better future.
Exactly. And when those stories are shared authentically and powerfully, they have the power to ignite empathy and inspire action.
It's like you hear that saying, people forget what you said, but not how you made them feel, right?
Oh, totally.
And stories, they just get us in our feels in a way nothing else does.
They really do. They get to that, like, core human part of us.
Yeah.
We see ourselves in other people's struggles, even when those people are, like, from totally different times or cultures.
Or even planets, if you're into sci-fi.
Exactly. But it's reassuring, like we're not alone in this.
And some of those stories, they kind of ripple out, become bigger than just one person's experience, right? Think about like Maya Angelou
Oh, for sure.
or Viktor Frankl. They're stories of hope, of resilience. They've touched millions of people.
What blows me away is how they still resonate even decades later. They
Yeah.
become part of this, like, human narrative we all share, giving people hope when they need it most.
Which I guess brings us to everyone listening right now. You've been on this deep dive with us, but you have your own stories too, right?
That's the thing. And those stories are important. Never underestimate what you got to share.
So how do we do that? How do we actually use this power of storytelling in our own lives?
It doesn't have to be this big dramatic thing. Could be telling a story to a friend or using one to connect with coworkers.
Right, or even journaling, just for yourself.
Exactly.
It's about noticing those little moments and then finding the courage to share them, even if it's just with one other person.
Because you never know how your story might connect with someone, might spark an idea or offer comfort or even like inspire change in the world. That ripple effect.
Don't underestimate it.
Yeah.
So, next time you think about telling someone a story, big or small, remember what we talked about today. Don't underestimate it.
Your voice matters.
That's the unexpected power of storytelling.